Hello, good day everyone. This is Tariq. Welcome to Business Class 1035, which is Computer Apps number 2. So welcome to semester number 2 again with me. So we are going to be working on this chapters for next 14 weeks. So here is we are going to do. I'm going to record my lectures and then you're going to follow how it will be done on the screen. Watch the video and then there would be a quiz right after it. Watch the video, read the document, and complete the quiz. So let's start working on our chapter number 1, which talks about our GST, PST, HST. Before discussing this chapter, I'd like to ask you a question. If you decide to live in Canada, then what is the most important thing what we have to do every single day if you would decide to live in Canada? There would be many answers. Once I was in the class, the answers would be, sir, we have to pay money, we have to buy groceries, we have to buy clothing, rent, telephone bills, etc. Again, all the answers are right. But problem is buying a coffee to buying a house anywhere in Canada, we have to pay the total price plus the taxes. That is how important our taxes are. So let's start and talk about a little bit of our taxes. So here what is we are going to talk about. The first one is called GST. So as I taught you in the class as well, we are going to highlight whatever we studied, we are going to highlight in our chapters. So today what we are going to work on, the term called GST. What is GST? So let's talk about it. What is GST? Here is the definition of GST. The definition of GST is Goods and Services Tax, called GST. Now, this is the definition, and here's an explanation of our GST. How much is GST? How much taxes we have to pay if we want to buy a coffee, we want to buy clothing, we want to buy shoes, we want to buy a house, we want to buy a car. There must be some kind of a formula to calculate the tax. And that's what we are going to do to find out what is the formula to calculate the tax. Here, the goods and services GST is levied by the federal government. So I highlighted called federal government, means that it is imposed by the federal government. At what rate? So the rate is given to us right in here, 5% on most goods and services in Canada. What we learned, it is imposed by the federal government, it is 5%, and it is across Canada. There's no province in Canada or territory where we do not have a tax. So this GST is applicable in all our provinces and territories at a rate of 5%. Next one. Retailers pay the GST to their wholesalers and vendors, but are allowed to deduct any GST they pay from the GST and collect from the customers. Now, who receive these tax? The GST, right? The title, it's a person's title. It's not the name of the person, but it's the person's title. For example, a truck driver is a title. A teacher is a title. So the title of this person who's receiving the GST, the title is a Receiver Journal of Canada. This is an exam question. Who receives this money? It's a Receiver Journal of Canada. We have to pay our taxes to Receiver Journal of Canada. How? By monthly and by quarterly. Now, next one, GST registration. Any business with annual sales exceeding $30,000 per year must register with GST collection and must collect GST on applicable sales. Okay, the question asks, sir, why is 30,000? That's what Government of Canada decided, that if you are doing a business and making a sales of $30,000 per year, equal to or more than $30,000 per year, you must register with Government of Canada. And once you register with Government of Canada, you have to receive the GST, and then you have to pay back the GST to Receiver General of Canada. Right? Next one, registration is optional for most smaller business. Now, Karan comes to me and asks me, sir, what do you mean by the registration is optional? Register is absolutely optional, guys, for the smaller business. Now, Karan asks me, sir, what is a smaller business? Anything which is less than $30,000. For example, 29,500, 19,000, 16,000, 14,000, anything which is less than $30,000 per year in sales is considered as a smaller business, and it's optional that business can register or not register with Government of Canada. So if you're not registering with Government of Canada, then you're not allowed to collect the GST, and you're not paying that GST to Receiver General of Canada, right? Again, it says in here, businesses that are not registered for GST do not charge GST on sales to their customers. Simple as that. Next one, collecting the GST. Again, as we learned so far, we are going to the businesses which are more than $30,000 per year must register Government Canada, must collect the GST from their customers, and give it back to the Government of Canada to Receiver General for Canada. Now, collecting the GST. The business must collect GST for those goods and services sold that are not zero rated and tax exempt. So we are going to highlight this part as well. And then we are going to learn what is the meaning of zero rated or tax exempt. So the next definition comes right in here, which says zero rated goods and services. Now, what is a zero rated goods and services? Let's talk about it. What is zero rated goods and services? Zero rated goods and services are those on which the tax rate is zero. So again, very simple definition, very simple logic. What is the logic? Zero rated goods and services are those on which the tax ratio is zero. Now, Karen comes to me, sir, what does that mean tax rate is zero? You mentioned that we have to pay taxes on each and everything all over in Canada. So what do you mean by zero rated? Karen, the answer for this question is zero rated tax means that include few items which have zero rated. Means government will apply tax on it, but tax rate is zero. So what are these items? These items includes basic groceries. Now, what are basic groceries? Let's talk about what are our basic groceries, right? So basic groceries, we talked about basic groceries. What are my basic groceries? Let's take a look. Basic groceries. Any ideas what basic groceries are? The first one is called eggs. Number two is bread. Number three is milk. So these are the three basic groceries where government is not applying taxes. For example, eggs are $1.99 plus tax. It should be, but in this case, there is no tax. There is no tax. So what is that means? We are no taxes on it. So the price for eggs should be $1.99. Again, can I ask me, sir, then that applies with the bread as well? Yep, absolutely. It applies to the bread as well. 2.99. So 2.99 plus taxes. It's supposed to be, but because this is a zero rated tax, that means the price of the bread should be $2.99. Okay. Akir comes to me, sir, what about milk? Absolutely. 3.99 plus taxes, supposed to be, but because it's zero rated tax, so that means the price for milk in Canada is without tax is 3.99. So I hope you understand what are my basic groceries. These basic grocery list items have some more items, but these are the basic groceries. Just give you an idea about what are your basic groceries, where the tax rate is zero. Karan comes to me, sir, is there any other items in here? Absolutely. Let's take a look at it. Medical devices. So what are my medical devices? Let's talk about medical devices. Okay, so medical devices. What are my medical devices? The heart, the blood pressure, checking equipment, the blood sugar checking device. So these are the equipment which being considered as prescribed medical devices, which do not have any or taxes, or it has to be, the right term is a zero rated tax. Let's take a look at another item. Prescribed drugs. So guys, the meaning of this is drugs means medicines. Exported goods and services. The things which are leaving the port, goods and services called exported goods. So something which we are sending from Canada to India or Canada to China, that is what is called exported goods. We do not charge, or the tax rate is zero rated goods and services. Next one is agriculture products. Everybody know what is agriculture products? Next one is called fish products. So these are the items which we have under zero rated goods and services. Next one. Next page is what we have. Tax exempt goods and services. Tax exempt goods and services. So basically there would be, the first one is called zero rate taxes. So let's talk about this tax exempt goods and services. What is the meaning of this term? Tax exempt goods and services are those on which tax is not collected, right? So this means there would be tax, but we do not charge tax. We do not collect taxes on these items. Karan comes to me, sir. There would be some kind of these items as well. Absolutely. Let's take a look. What are those items? These goods and services include healthcare. So when you go to a doctor, they ask your health card. They charge their services, but not the taxes. Dental care. What is dental care? It means dentist. Daycare means daycare services. When husband and wife both parents works, they keep their children at a place which called daycare services. So on daycare services, the tax is tax exempt goods and services. And also the most important, and here you're able to understand it better, rent on personal residences. So for example, Karan comes to me, sir, I asked Karan how much you're paying a rent a month, and he said $500, right? So next month, when a landlord comes to his door, knock on the door, hey Karan, your rent is due. Okay, absolutely. But he would knock on the door and say $500 only. He cannot say $500 plus the GST or plus the tax. Why? Because that's a rent on personal residences, which is tax exempt. So that's what the terminology means, tax exempt goods and services. Most educational and financial services. What do you mean by financial services? Means banks, also included in this group. Next one, paying the GST, and then bank and financial institutions. As we already learned, banks is called financial institutions. Most banks and products and services are not taxable. So here is what you have to highlight, and this is an exam question as well. Next one is called the GST on imported goods and exported goods. Again, we already know what is the difference between a an imported goods or exported goods. Export means they are leaving the port. Import, it is coming into the country. So let's talk about this now and find out what is exported and imported goods and which can be taxable, which is not taxable. So let's take a look at it. GST is not charged on exported goods. Simple and easy. Next one, customers in other countries who import goods from Canada do not pay GST. However, the businesses in Canada must pay GST on the items they import or purchase from the countries. So basically what you have to write is this. Exported goods, no tax. Imported goods, yes, tax. Simple. The formula is exported goods, no tax. Imported goods, yes, tax. Right? So this for your understanding, imported and exported goods. Now, again, who is going to collect? And this is very important as an exam question. Who is the person? Who is the agency? Who is the office? Which agency, which government with collecting our GST? The answer is given to us right in here. The GST is collected by the Canada Revenue Agency. What is the agency called? Canada Revenue Agency, or it calls CRA. So this is the topic for GST for today. Please exactly do the same as I showed it to you on the screen, how to highlight the important parts of this topic. Okay, So next one, which we are going to talk about, is called Provincial Sales Tax, which is called PST. So we're going to highlight this Provincial Sales Tax, which is called PST. Karan comes to me, sir, what do you mean retail? Karan, it also called as the retail sales tax. So here for your understanding, we called it PST is equal to Provincial Sales Tax, and also we called it RST is equal to Retail Sales Tax, for your understanding. Okay, so now again, what is PST? The rules governing provincial sales tax vary from province to province. Now, then comes to me, ask me, sir, what do you mean by province to province? How many provinces do we have here in Canada? Again, as you know, India has different provinces, China has different provinces, Canada has different provinces as well. So how many provinces do we have here in Canada? Let's take a look. We have 10 provinces and 3 territories. So 10 provinces and 3 territories. Altogether, it's 13 provinces plus the territories. Okay, so 13 provinces altogether, 10 provinces and 3 territories, altogether 13. Now, can I ask me, sir, do we have to remember or memorize all the tax ratios in different provinces? Because it says in here, provincial sales tax vary from province to provinces. So we have to memorize 13 different types of sales percentages for different provinces. The answer is no. You don't have to memorize it. You just have to memorize your own province where you live in, or whatever you're interested in, you can memorize. The reason why, if you take a look at the last page in here, if you take a look at the last page, you have been given a complete sheet which says sales tax rates across Canada. So for example, if you're living in Alberta, you're paying only the GST, which is 5%. If you're living in Ontario, you're paying HST, which is 13%, and it's given to you right here. So this is the sheet which will be given to you in the exam for your reference. So you don't have to memorize all of these percentages one by one, but there are 13 different provinces which have 13 different taxes. So let's continue in here. Now, PST. Although the GST is applied to each level of sales and resales, including stages of manufacturing, PST is a retail sales tax. Okay, and but it's this retail sales tax by the provincial governments, and terms RST and PST are equivalent. We already learned about this before, right? Now, PST applies only to sales within the province, not to the sales to customers in different province or in different country. This is what you have to highlight it, and this is important. And the last line, all consumers in Canada pay GST. Again, GST is applicable at what rate? At 5% in all over Canada. PST is tax vary from province to province. Now, let's talk about a little bit of what provinces charge what kind of tax. So let's take a look at it. Alberta. So right in here, Alberta, the Northwest Territories, Yukon, and Nunavut. Alberta, the Northwest Territory, Yukon, and Nunavut do not have provincial sales taxes. Customers in this region pay only the 5% GST in their purchases. So again, we have to know about what is which province is paying what tax, which is given to you in the last sheet, as you can see it right here. Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, Saskatchewan, and Yukon, GST, PST, GST, PST, and the percentage is given to us of each and every province. So this is the basic knowledge of our PST, PST in Manitoba, PST in Saskatchewan, British Columbia, and Quebec. And here we have the information given to us. These four provinces apply PST on the base price of sales, the amount without GST. In Manitoba, British Columbia, the retail sales tax is 8%. In Saskatchewan, the rate is 5%. In Quebec, the rate is 9.97%. These information is given to you on the last page as well. So this is what the basic information of our PST. Last but not the least, the last one is called Harmonized Sales Tax. Again, the HST term is called Harmonized Sales Tax. Now, what is Harmonized Sales Tax? So let's consider we want to add the HST plus the GST plus the PST is equal to HST. Let's take a look. 5 provinces have adopted the Harmonized Sales Tax method of taxing goods and services. So, which are those 5? Prince Edward Island, Ontario, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland and Labrador are the one who are taking this method of HST. So how we are going to do HST? Let's take a look. When HST applies, the GST and the professional sales tax are harmonized at a single rate. Means they are harmonized. They are become one single rate. Let's take a look. In all provinces, 5% of GST is the federal part and are the GST, while the other remaining is called provincial portion. But we don't know how much is the provincial portion. Karan comes to me, sir. Oh, so for example, for Ontario, it's 13. So if I do 13 minus, so if I do, so HST, GST is equal to 5%. PST is equal to 8%. And HST is equal to altogether 13%. The answer is wrong. Reason why? Because as it mentioned here, instead of doing separate 5 and 8, we are in Ontario, we are going to only consider HST at 13%. We don't divide these 5 and 8% ratio into 2 different portions. As it says in here, it becomes harmonized as a single rate. Provincial sales taxes rates vary from province to another, so the HST rates also vary, right? So in here. Now, Karan comes to me and asks me, sir, then who is responsible to take these separate? Karan, that's not our question. Who separates it? The question is, or the answer or the logic is, we are going to calculate at one single rate. So that's what our topic for HST. It is always administrative entirely at the federal level. So now this is our topic for HST. Let's take a look at the last page. Again, in the last page, we have been given all the information about Alberta, only at GST, British Columbia, GST and PST, New Brunswick is HST. As you can see, Ontario is HST and it is given to you at 13%. There is no separate GST plus PST portions available. So wherever it says GST, it is only applicable GST. British Columbia, we are going to calculate GST and the PST separately. 5 and 7%. And Ontario, we are going to do only one tax, which is HST at 13%. So my friends, here is the topic for our GST, PST, HST for today. Please take a look at it, study it, read your notes, highlight them, make an important points as I highlight in front of you on the screen, and make your notes. And complete your right after this, you're able to find your first assignment on Schoology. So please, with the help of this last page, complete your assignment as well. You need a calculator to complete this assignment. So please make sure you have a calculator or you're doing it on your phone to complete this assignment. Thank you, and I will see everybody in the next class.